Yeah. All right, new segment. We just came up with it. Crazy things jiu-jitsu people ask judokas. All right, so I'm here with Brian. Check out his channel, linking it down below. Right, make sure you like it, subscribe it, because he has tons of jiu-jitsu stuff, Newaza stuff. You have a question for me today.
So my question is about, I think jiu-jitsu people standing from the feet, they tend to do one of two things, well, one of three things. One of them is they sit down, right? Another one is that they get into a bent over stance where they are very static. You know, in judo, most people are looking to attack.
Yeah.
Even if you're a little bit defensive, you're still on the lookout for a chance, an opportunity to attack.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's this deer in the headlight situation where jiu-jitsu people just, they don't want to get thrown, so they end up really stiff. And the third thing is, either in combination with the first one or not, is like a stiff arm. And I know that for my own students, sometimes when we're talking about the standing position, they say, yeah, all these throws are really great, like Osotogari and Oichigari and all these things, but I come out and I grip up, and the person is just stiff-arming me away, and I feel like it's this iron bar between the two of us I just can't deal with. So my question is, how do you deal with a super strong stiff arm and then turn it into something that's advantageous to you?
Great. All right, thank you for that question. It's a nice softball for me. Nail it out of the park.
Yeah, but it's a serious question
No,
because
it's a good
guys struggle with this all the time.
All the time. All right, so quick thing about the stiff arm. When he has his hand posting, this position of his arm, he's insanely strong, right? Brian Glick could probably bench 500 pounds, so no one's getting through this, right? So the idea is to get rid of this post, get rid of this frame, or put it in a compromised position where I could fold this arm, right? So a couple different ideas. I want to get rid of this hand here, but it's very difficult to just go, I don't really like this two-handed grip break situation, okay? The reason why is because if we're linked up right versus right, he has his arm stiff arm, and now it's very difficult. If I let go of this lapel hand to take this hand off, right, this is a great timing for him because he has two hands on and I have one hand on. Okay, it's a great time for him to go sode. There's this thing that I really like to do. Let's turn here, right? If Glick lets go of this hand to go break this, as he's going for the grip break, go ahead, break it, break it, break it. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do. Now I have one hand versus he has no hand. Okay, so this is like my first option. Love this. So I never suggest breaking with two hands. Okay, most people do that. But if you know this trick, you're going to be able to circumvent that always. So I don't like doing this. So now from this position, I want to be able to break this lapel hand without leaving this control hand on the lapel, okay? The way I'm going to do this a lot of the times is push into me, stiff arm, right? Look, I'm going to give him a little bit of counter force here, okay? So I have a lot of pressure going into him, and once I feel this pressure, I'm going to release, go backwards, and you see the position of his arm is very extended, and now I can take and bring my body away. Okay? A lot of the times, when he's completely extended here, this is a good timing for me to take the hand off. But his hand is pretty strong here, right? I want to break sort of his posture a little bit, and not only am I pushing this hand away, but I'm bringing my chest away as well, okay? That's option number one. Option number two, I talked about compromising the position of his arm. I'm going to roll my shoulder and bring his hand down, okay? So now look at the angle of his arm here, okay? Now it's a little bit lower. From this position, going straight in might be a little bit difficult, but in the angle of a pec fly is going to be a lot weaker here, okay? So he can push me really hard this way, but to push me this way might not be as strong, okay? So I'm going to try to take that, all right? I roll the shoulder, now I'm in a much better position, and then from this position, from being in front, I'm going to rotate, and now I'm going to go sort of chest to chest, sort of a speak. It's called a bow and arrow position in judo. Okay? So now I'm in this position, and from this position I'm going to start attacking. Obviously, Osoto and turn throws are very difficult, so I'm going to rotate here and go towards the closest side where he's leaning. I go sasai, and now this is a good time for me to take that hand off, right? Because he's thinking about his balance. Whenever I employ kazushi, that's a great time for him to think about his balance, and that's a great time for me to take that hand off. Okay? So that's option number two. Another thing that I like to do here, right? So I'm adjusting here is to attack Kochi, or I go for a turn throw, attack Kochi, and take the hand off here. Okay, that's another thing that I like to do. All right? This is sort of in a right side versus right side setting with one hand on the collar. Sometimes you get a guy that's doing double collar, right? Or even Kenkai's position, right? And this hand is sort of in a very annoying position. You may encounter this as well too, right? And this is a little bit different because I don't want to let go here and come down here and try to fuss around the sleeve. This can open you up to a lot of trouble, especially if he has a sleeve. Okay, if I'm trying to come here and fuss around, yeah, I might be in trouble, right? So in this case, right, I'm not going to be engaging the sleeve, right? I want to break this arm by using both arms to crunch this arm in here, okay? Now from here, look, I can go up and around if you have an outside game, right? If I have inside position and the stiff arm is very strong, right, I want to attack the bend of the elbow here at the joint. So when I push into him, I feel this pressure. I'm going to punch this elbow and then bring my elbow to the inside here. Okay? Now the position of his arm is structured in a way where he doesn't have that much pushing power. Okay? And this is my opportunity to lapel. Now try to push me away, stiff arm. Right? Now is my chance to close the distance. Okay? Using two arms. Right? His arm is kind of like this, so he's not very strong. And then once he grabs that sleeve, look, I switch to the sleeve. Now I have this strong post position, and then big massive throw. So those are a couple different options. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Great, perfect.
Right? There's a lot of different other ways too, and each independently is not going to be that good. You have to do them all together. Like you did this video about Juji escapes. Right? Remember this one?
Yeah.
It's on his YouTube channel. You gotta go check it out. It's unbelievable. You can't just do one Juji escape.
Yeah.
You gotta go from one to another because I go for things, I adjust, right? It's like this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of guard passing is the same way. I think a lot of times people think, it sounds like gripping is this way too. People think there's one thing that you need to do and then you can go and do your thing. But it's always a chain of pieces that are connected. If you watch great people grip fighting, if you watch great people jockeying for position, passing the guard, it's always the same thing. It's directional change, movement, as you were talking about, and so this makes a lot of sense, fits right in there.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, that's a great one.